Hey everyone, this is Black Woman 7 here, and today we'll be discussing our new draft league that we are participating in. So, this is somewhat different compared to the other draft leagues formats or draft league videos I've done, or the reviews of my team. Because we've already started, and I kind of want to go through also all the transactions I made in this video, so I didn't want to make a transaction list and a full tier team list, and it's just given how some of the battles already occurred, and it was kind of I feel it's going to be pointless regardless, so I might as well just include it in here, so the changes we made for this team here. Nonetheless, here we are in our KCBL video. So already, for those who are wondering, KCBL stands for the Kanto Cast Battle League, so hosted by none other than Kanto's Cast Blue, so good friend of mine. So basically, this is like 12. This is a 12 person league in which we are basically fighting to see who is better at Pokemon. So I don't know. You can take that for a grain of salt. So, basically, what we're doing here is we're just battling out. So every 2 weeks, when it's a bi-weekly league, so it's once per every. I already noticed a mistake. So this is what happens when you have to change stuff. So we had wheezing instead of melt. Well, we had melting, just I noticed when I put melting again. So regarding KCBL, it's pretty much a standard draft league with a tiered system similar to that of the GBA, but this is more so instead it's more so aligned to the MPL, where some of the megas are taxed with some points. So you might see some Pokemon here that are interesting and some that aren't. So given this tax on megas, we did have to you'll see a lot more lower tier Pokemon compared to the higher tier. So especially if and I think if you buy a higher or get a higher tier mega, then you basically you could grab a better well-rounded team, so, from the higher tiers. So regarding this league, a lot of the people here are Regency players and draft players, so they know what they're doing. So they've done this before, including I think Blue, Kevin, who we just battled in finals in CIL. Go watch that, by the way. Shameless plug. So and Mav, again, watch that. Shameless plug. So so regarding this league, the point system is basically you have to draft your tier A, tier B, tier C. But this system is you have to draft 2 tier Ds and you have to make sure that you fill with, you have to you have a budget that's within a lot less or equal to 400, and if you get a mega, that's that gives you a deduction, or a bonus, then you gain points to your total, so to use to add megas. Well, not necessarily megas, but to add more higher tiered Pokemon, or to balance out your team instead of getting maybe a lower tiered team that I have. So but anyways, let's get down to business. So we did get the 4th seed, or the 4th pick of the draft, and already I decided, you know what, I drafted this guy many times and I dropped him almost immediately in the 2nd week. So, and yes, you're talking about the boy Blue. The boy Blue. I'll probably call him Boy Blue. So yeah, so I think this goes without saying that Manaphy is one of the best offensive wall breakers, especially water type wall breakers in the format. So the fact that it has Tail Glow, it has Calm Mind, it has the Rain Dance, hydration set. It has like the fact that it has 100 BST across the board, or 100 like base stats across the board, totaling up to 600 is amazing. Again, excellent setup sweeper. There were some Pokemon I wanted to draft, and it took a while to get to select which one I wanted. So, and I picked Manaphy because it's an overall solid Pokemon to pick. I wanted to try Celesteela and Zygarde, but I felt like maybe I could maybe try to snag it in the later rounds, but then again, I got picked. Also, some Pokemon that I thought of was like Jirachi. And the reason why I think I picked Manaphy almost immediately was because the fact that almost not almost, but in this league you have access there's no Z move restriction, so aside Omni Boost and evasion stuff, so basically Manaphy has access to a full load of Z moves. So whether I want to run Z Rain Dance, Z Tail Glow, or Z Waterium Z, so it's amazing. So right off the bat, I have a very strong Pixie Pokemon, so very strong Pokemon to pair with, and so I decided, you know what, let's try to find Manaphy a friend. Forget a Pokemon that's that can take Electric and Grass Pokemon. Grass, it's better, since Water, it still does okay against those types if it wants to. It just sets up and just kills them, but obviously Manaphy could fill in a wide variety of roles, so I decided to get this guy. So our next pick is a very interesting pickup, but I thought this Pokemon went way too far below the draft, and I thought it wasn't gonna get into my selection, but when it did, I was amazed. And I was either gonna pick Mega Latias or Mega Latios, but I decided to get Latias because Latias is the better of the two, in my opinion, because it goes into the right stats. And just look at this thing. Look at this thing. Aside HP, everything has 100 plus stats. 120, 140, 120 defense, 140 special attack, 150 special defense, and 110 speed is amazing. Especially for a Pokemon when it has a BST total of 700. It's amazing to have this Pokemon. There's just no drawbacks of getting this guy. I was thinking about getting Cresselia, but Latias just makes it up. So, it's one of the best Pokemon in the form. In my opinion, Latias along with Manaphy went back in Gen 6. But now, I strongly consider Latias as one of the best draft megas in the game or in the format. So getting ahead of myself. Just look at this move pool. It has access to Defog, Earthquake, Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor, Healing Wish, Greens, Magicoat. Obviously the Psychic moves, Recover, Refresh, Roost. It has Sucker Punch for some reason. It has Sucker Punch, guys. This Latias has Sucker Punch for priority. I'm just showing you all this stuff. What you might see, what you might not see. It has this Mist Ball, has Reflect type, which could be cool. Sword Power, which is obviously the set that everyone's scared of, because Latias is one of the most deadlier, along with Necrozma, they could set that up very easily and just set up and win. So yeah, the reason why I wanted to get Latias is because it's a very versatile Pokemon, similar to Manaphy. Manaphy can fulfill so many defensive and offensive roles, and even the fact that Manaphy has U-turn and knockoff just really help with Scald. And Latias fulfills this role even better because it has Recovery, it has Defog, it has T-Wave, it has Thunder Wave, or I think it was, oh fuck, I forgot. It has Toxic. Its move pool is almost it has enough to hit everything in the game, so you could even run a physical set if you want, to abuse that 100 attack. So, and like I said, this thing is very, very bulky. 120 defense and 150 special defense is nothing to laugh at, especially when you have that much speed. It's you're not gonna take this down in one hit. You need something that I don't know, a Tyrannosaur to like take this thing down. So yeah, like Latias is just overall probably like the best pickup mon I wanted. And it was just like I knew I wanted to get this guy and this gal, and yeah, Latias is a really amazing Pokemon. So our next pick is pretty much I wanted to get a fairy almost immediately because like the fairy type I wanted got picked up or sniped immediately. Like I wanted Togekiss, but it was just like I was like, oh man. And at that point, I kind of had to pull the trigger because I think Sylveon already got picked from the round before, and for this third round pick, I have to get Florges. Now Florges, I know is I've used this thing like now for like the second time this year. However, the fact that it got buffed, like for what few people don't know is that it has access now to defog and some interesting options. I'll name it like Fearful Look. So I didn't draft it mainly because of this, even though like the fact that you can reduce its attack and special attack with opponent is interesting, but the fact that Florges is now could be a dedicated defog user is amazing because it's already like it has a way to differentiate itself against Clefable and Sylveon and all the other fairies except for maybe Togekiss. But the thing is, Florges is still like a cleric. It has 120, 154 like special defense, 120 or 112 like special attack. So Moonblast is gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt definitely, especially if you give it like coverage options like Energy Ball, Calm Mind, Psychic, and Hidden Power of choice. Of course, Florges is kind of limited in terms of what way you want to run it, but I do think that like the fact that it has that special defense. I would like to point out that like Florges has an insane amount of special defense, even for I almost forgot, for like level 50s, which is a format we're going to be playing in. That's gonna be amazing, especially with Latias. So Florges with this much of defense is gonna be amazing to have. So very good cleric, very good fairy type. Overall, and it did want me like a championship in like this year, so I wanted to try it out again just to see what just to see how well it could do in this league. So not much to say about Florges. Overall, like a good glue Pokemon. So for our next pick, we kind of like it might be weird, but like I decided to get another A tier pick mainly because I noticed that a lot of the fire type and steel type Pokemon were going. And I was kind of afraid that maybe I wasn't gonna get something like, let's say a Ferrothorn, or even like I forgot what it was, but what fire type I wanted. There was a steel type I wanted. I forgot the name, but I know it was like I know Ferrothorn was one of them. But like the fact that like oh yeah, I wanted to get Incineroar, but then I was like, great, it got picked. So so I had to change my strategy around in terms of drafting, and I looked around and I saw that Heatran wasn't drafted, and I decided, you know what, I might as well get it because one, it looks cool, even though it looks like I don't know what it looks like, but like it looks perfect on my team, and not only that, it fulfills already like my Steel Dragon Fairy core almost instantaneously, as well as gives me like my 2 parts of my water. My fire, water, grass core as well. So now I have a Heatran. So I mean, Heatran's like in of itself is like Pokemon I've always wanted to try, but it's one of those Pokemon that it can fulfill any role in your team. It's like another Glumon, another bulky Pokemon. And its base 130 special defense. I mean, special like attack. It's just nothing to scoff at. The fact that it has moves like Eruption, like Fire Blast, Overheat, like Flamethrower, even like things like Flash Cannon and Iron Head, Solar Beam, and the fact that you could pair this with a Z move is amazing. So that's why I wanted to pick up Heatran. So, and not only that, its utility sets are even better now in this generation with access to like all the fairy types, all the running around. So I have like stuff like Fire Spin, Magma Storm, Taunt, Toxic, Distinct, Wisp, it could be built like especially defensive, like max speed, or even like some like spec set or something like that. But like Heatran's like one of those Pokemon that shouldn't be stepped on at all. It's always like one of those. It's like a very great utility Pokemon over that's just gonna cause a lot of problems, especially if like it could just pick off a Pokemon, trap it, or just wall break. So at the end of the day, I kind of like I didn't know whether this pick was viable in terms of like long-term prospects, but as you can see, like I didn't drop it, so I did consider dropping Heatran, but I decided, you know what, since it's a fire steel type, and those are very rare to get by, so with flash fire, it's like it's amazing. So immunity to fire types, and maybe you get chance to burn stuff. I want to see what that happens one day, but whatever. But yeah, Heatran's like just one of those Pokemon that could just fill that niche role for my team. Just be like that wall that just leaves that like how to say it? It just alleviates pressure from Florges. Just it's able to take on opposing fire, opposing like steel types of its own. It synergizes very well with my Latias and Florges, so that's why I wanted to pick Heatran up. I was kind of doubtful, but like after the couple games I've had it, like it's amazing. So as you notice, our next Pokemon is a Crocodile. So at this point, I was kind of lacking like a physical attacker. Since the first like 4 Pokemon are like all special attackers in their right. You could make Manaphy and Latias physical attackers if you're gonna bring some heat sets, but like I wanted another dedicated like physical attacker for this team, as well as like a ground type Pokemon. And I was looking around, and this Pokemon, the fact that it was in C tier, was like, wow, this guy's gonna fit in my team amazingly. And it's Crocodile. So Crocodile has like 2 abilities. I don't want to count this one. I don't know about this. I remember when like people were running like what that circle throw, that circle throw, what do you call it? Marigold, and now like the EV teams. So no wait, the EV teams don't run Moxie though. So but like, okay, this is not VGC. So so yeah, Crocodile. So get started. So Crocodile with Ground Dark is amazing. Stab. It already has access to Earthquake, Crunch, Knockoff, Foul Play, like even has coverage like Aqua Tail, Superpower, Brick Break, Dragon Claw. Even some of the Fire Fang, some of like the Fang moves. And it's already like a very interesting Pokemon itself. It has access to rocks, has access to taunt, like, and it has an interesting variety of setup options and support options as well. So like Intimidate, Toxic. Why did I put Hidden Power Rock? Yeah, no, Power Rock, no. And it has that ability, like that new move, like Power Trick. So that might be something to try out. So, but yeah, like this thing is a very cool Pokemon to have, and I've seen people like have this thing in their MVP totals. Like this thing would usually be up there. Like wait, I think back in Gen 6, this thing would be like one of the strongest like contenders for the MVP, and especially with the Ground Dark targeting, it's amazing offensively, even defensively, because like you're not gonna be able to take any damage from like Psychic or like Electric type Pokemon. So from like a synergy perspective, this does like make my team slightly weak to fighting, but earned Bug and also Fairy. But then again, I have Heatran there, one big scary Fire Steel type Pokemon. But yeah, like the best thing about this thing is that you don't even know what it's gonna be, like whether it's gonna be Moxie or Intimidate. Well, maybe they'll know because like obviously you're gonna switch in, so they'll see the Intimidate sign. But the thing I like about like Crocodile is that he can fulfill those roles. He can fulfill those defensive and offensive roles very well. So if they could like put it in on a team, so yeah. And the fact that it has Moxie means it could perform like a sweep if it wants to. So my opponent's gotta be very concerned about that type of set. So And I don't want to like discount Intimidate because Intimidate's like a great ability in of itself. It already helps with these guys with their bulk, overall bulk, and it could help like say man if you set up Teglo, Latias Combine, Heatran, or just a Wish, Heatran like trapping something or like killing something. Overall, I like this Crocodile pickup, and I think it was a really good pick. So, next Pokemon we're gonna talk about is our Miltank. And I'll admit, I did drop Miltank because of the fact that like I think we did drop Miltank, and I'll explain later. But originally we had it just for like having another Pokemon that could set up rocks, that could be like another physical, like defensive wall for this team. That's not like gorgeous, and also a cleric option. So it has a variety of like support options as well as setup options with Spurs. It also has clerics support with Gil Bell, as well as some setup, as well as some recovery with Milk Drink. So the thing about Miltank is that it's a normal type, and it has a bunch of like setup options as well. So not setup options, but variety in moves. As you can see, it has like a bunch of fighting moves, fire moves, like all the elemental punches, and as well even rocks, as well as even like status options like Thunder Wave and Toxic. So but I did drop it for like this Bouffalon here, mainly because I felt that Bouffalon was better to have for like an offensive role. Like Bouffalon is just great overall because first of all, it has 110 attack with 95 defense, HP, and defenses all across the board. Yes, it is slow, but the fact that it has moves like Head Charge, Earthquake, Iron Head, like Mega Horn, with stuff like Swords Dance and Taunt, like it's a good Pokemon to have, especially from a lower tier. The reason why I dropped the Miltank for Bouffalon was mainly because I wanted a Pokemon that's more aggressive, that could set up in general, and it still gave me like Sap Sipper because when I looked at Miltank, I was like, wait, it has Sap Sipper, because I have used Miltank like multiple times now, and I have like won like 3 leagues with it, but at the same time I'm like, yeah, I kind of want to use something else now. So, and there's like, and I almost thought about changing this guy for like maybe Slaking, but then I was like, maybe not. So Bouffalon's better, just for damage output wise. So I decided to get this guy. Very bulky, very strong, variety of good abilities. So yeah. Now we're just gonna talk about some other Pokemon. So from our lower tiered. So this one's another Pokemon that I changed, and it's Weezing. Which originally I think I used it for 2 or 3 games. I'm not so sure, but like but the reason why I got Weezing was because it was another physical wall, but it was a poison type Pokemon that can take hits very, very well from like physical attackers, and I decided like I wanted to have another like a check to like fighting types, check to fairy types, and this Pokemon has access to some really good moves like Clear Smog, Sludge Bomb, Toxic Spikes, especially the Toxic Spikes, the Flamethrower, Haze, Hidden Power of your choice, Wisp, etc, etc. So I liked Weezing at first for a while because it was just a great utility wall. However, I did end up dropping it because I kind of wanted to like use my points to scoop up this other Pokemon, which is Cofagrigus, and to be honest, Cofagrigus is Weezing in every other way, with the exception of some key factors. One, Cofagrigus isn't like poison type, and Weezing is. The other thing is that like Cofagrigus has a better ability in my opinion with Mummy, because with Mummy you can remove certain abilities of the opposing Pokemon if they make contact with you, and that could just make or break the game in my opinion. So another thing I liked about like this guy is basically like I wanted another ghost type that, or not ghost type, well yeah, I wanted a ghost type that could just fit in on this team very well, given the fact that I have like I think 4 like Pokemon weak to fighting with Buffalon, like Furious, as you see, uh, the Crocodile and the Heatran. And yeah, like this thing also has access to setup options like Calm Mind, Nasty Plot. It has access to Wisp, Toxic Spikes, Toxic, Shadow Ball, and even Trick Room. Like there's some really dumb things you could do with Cofagrigus, and it is just one of those Pokemon that I always think it's like left on. Like I think it's a Pokemon I've always tried using, and it's kind of, I don't want to say it's mixed results, but I think I have seen it do very well for me in the past. So all I would say is that Cofagrigus is one of my favorite ghost types to try to use in Draft League. And keep in mind that it also has a good special defense stat as well with access to Calm Mind, so there's that. So overall, I think like the change to Weezing to Cofagrigus is just amazing. I do think it's like, if I, like, given the point structure, I would have kept both of them if I wanted to, but like I felt that Cofagrigus was just a better pickup for C tier than like Weezing, because it, like, I think I had like some leftover points and I could like adjust it to where I could get like Cofagrigus. So yeah, that's all I have to say about that one. The next Pokemon we'll talk about is well, maybe Gligar, which we'll in turn like we'll talk about in Wilton. So Gligar, I didn't really keep him for a while. The reason why I grafted Gligar was because I wanted like a Pokemon that could take hits very well, like pretty much set up Source Amp as a baton pass it to like something, I don't know. But over time I realized its role was kind of pointless for this team, and I traded it off to like one of my conference opponents, and I got in return was a Rotom. So I do like this Rotom here because now that it has access to Vivog, it does alleviate pressure from like Florges and Latias. So I have another Defogger, and I also have a electric grass type, so that's already gonna fill up like some important roles right there. So what I like about Rotom is that it can be used offensively with Specs, or even defensively with like Wisp, T-Wave, Toxic. So it's like it has a bunch of status options. Of course, it can have screens, it can have like Shadow Ball, Leap Storm as its main coverage. Stab, Volt Switch, it gives me a Volt turn Mon, so and even Trick, so I did like this Mon. I did like having this Mon for a while for this team now, so I haven't well, I won't spoil it, but like there is some stuff like I want to try out with like Rotom, but I don't know. Maybe I'll try it out from some other games, but yeah. So overall, I do like this Pokemon. It has a great typing, Electric Grass, and it's not really like it can be used as an amazing pivot compared to like maybe like Latias and like Florges. So just Volt turning around, just being able to threaten stuff. So it's a good utility role Mon. So next Pokemon we got we're gonna talk about is Electivire, which in turn became my Furier. So I won't talk about Electivire. The reason why I had Electivire was because I wanted a Pokemon with a high attack stat, but then I changed it to Rhyperior for a couple of reasons. One, I kind of wanted a Pokemon that was like able to take, how do I say it? Like, how do I say it? Normal hits and like certain hits better. Like let's say fire, normal. Like I wanted to have another wall that could actually like do its job. Like let's say like that could still retaliate back with its high attack stat and still be like have some form of utility. So there was some stuff I looked over, like Cavalier, and even like I forgot who was Archeops, but then I decided, you know what, Rhyperior is a Pokemon that hasn't let me down, so I decided, you know what, I'm gonna draft this guy. So Rhyperior is a very solid Pokemon, pun not intended, but like look at its HP stat total: 115 HP, 140 attack, 130 defense, and the rest are all crap. So yeah, The reason why I got this guy over like Rhydon, because Rhydon was there, was but you saw that I had a bunch of Violet mons, so I don't want to. I didn't want to like be too weak to knock off. So yeah, but yeah, this guy has a lot of coverage options. It has Rock Blast from Stone Edge, Rock Slide, Avalanche, Aqua Tail, Drill Run, the punches, like Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Focus Punch, Thunder Punch, like you name it, even rocks. So this thing is really strong if you think about it. Well, no shit, because it has 140. But, the fact that it has stuff like curse, like sword stands, even weakness ball, not weakness balls, but like rock polish. So it makes this thing such a threat because you don't know what this thing can do. Like it has a very like versatile move pool, and I kind of wanted to have like a Pokemon. And one of the reasons, and perhaps the big reason why I wanted this over Rhydon, was because of the Z-move potential. Because since some of the like Violet mons can't rely on their items, I didn't want Rhydon. And Rhyperior, on the other hand, can use Z-moves, so that's another reason why I wanted to bring this guy on my team, like afterwards. So I think this guy, these two, I got them in like week the end of week 1 and the beginning of week 2. Well, I got these two in like week 4, so yeah, that's where we're in right now. So overall, I wanted like a Pokemon that could just take more like physical hits, that could kind of alleviate the pressure from Crocodile setting up rocks, while Crocodile can be take the more offensive route. I'm not saying that Rhyperior can't as well. It can do it as well if you think about it. So yeah, Rhyperior is just a solid wall, solid Pokemon. The last two Pokemon I'm gonna kind of bunch them together are Girder and Scyther. So I'll talk about Girder. Girder is pretty much like that one Pokemon I tried out. I think it was like CVA, and it actually was really decent if you think about it. And I kind of wanted to try it out again. So the thing about this guy is that with the Inviolite, it becomes really bulky. Even like bulkier than like its evolution Conkeldurr. So, and it still has access to 3 amazing abilities: Guts, Fear Force, and Iron Fist. So they all really fit Girder's playstyle very well. So especially if you want to like, it has a bunch of punching moves like Drain Punch, Mach Punch, Fire Punch, Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Focus Punch. Of course, it's like it has a bunch of other coverage options like Rock Slide, Poison Jab, Taunt, Brutal Swing, Payback. So yeah, I do like Girder because it's just one of those Pokemon that could just take a hit and just set up on the opposing Pokemon's face and just recover back with Drain Punch. It might sound like Girder might be like somewhat one-dimensional, but at the same time, this thing can it should be respected. It should be respected. It still has some amazing coverage options, like that most fire types would dare want to dream for about getting. So, of course, its main weakness is that like it's very slow compared to my other Pokemon, and it does have to rely on the Violites just to get bulky. But with that being said, like I do have access to Bulk Up, so the Violite plus Bulk Up makes it even more bulkier on the physical end. So yeah, Girder is like overall one of those Pokemon that just does work. Like it's just one of those Pokemon that could just do amazing on certain key matchups. It might be one-dimensional, but it just works solid. Like it can even like do like be a mono attacker if it wants to, or an all-out attacker. So, or like just utility mod just to take hits and just get out of there. So, the last Pokemon I wanted to draft was kind of like a freebie, but like I kind of wanted to get this guy for a long time, and it's Scyther. So now this Pokemon is even though it's weak to like 4 times weak to rocks, I still think it has a lot of potential in this team because the fact that it has 105 speed and 110 attack. And the best part about this is that Scyther has access to both a Violite, Choice Band, and Choice Scarf. It's like I wouldn't use Assault Vest because obviously you want to use Violite's basically Assault Vest with that. So, but what I like about Scyther is that with Technician, you can boost up. It's like already strong like flying coverage, like Wing Attack, Aerial Ace, to absurd levels, and it already has. And since it's based on Scizor, it already has a good coverage options like Knockoff, Brick Break, Swords Dance, Defog. Hey, you can even learn Defog if you want to do that. Pursuit. And yeah, like this thing could just it could act like a utility mod, especially the fact that like with the Violite, it's actually more bulkier than Scizor. Than Mega Scizor, which is insane. It's just that, well, not bulkier, but like on the defensive side, but on the special defensive side for sure. And like you have speed, so that helps immensely. So, like I said, it could provide a variety of roles, whether it be like a U-turn mod, Scout, Baton Pass, like Swords Dance, or even just like some kind of like a cleaner set. It's an amazing Pokemon to have for this season. So, I kind of wanted to try it out as my lower tier pick. So yeah, as you can see, these Pokemon, I think that's about it. So, as you can see, I did replace Miltank, Weezing, Swagger, and Electivire in exchange for Rotom, Inferior, Coffergigas, and Buffalant for like between the first 3 weeks of the league. So there's that. So I will mention that this squad is very strong if you think about it. It's very bulky, very strong, versatile. Like that's something I want to do in every draft. Like I always want to make sure that these teams are like they have a variety of options to do. They could like respond to any situation when needed. And I think we drafted very well. So especially there's like Pokemon both old and new that I wanted to try out now, like such as the Latias, the Heatran, the Manphy, the Scyther, and even like the Rotom or the Buffalant. So yeah, I think I rambled far enough. So, and that took like 40 minutes to just get through all that. So, well, if you guys listen to all that, you're the real MVP. So. I'll be uploading these every like week, so that way, like given the schedule, like hopefully we can get back on pace with the current weeks that are future weeks of the KCBL. So like by the time like with like week 5 or over there, or like week 5 or week 6, you're already like caught up to like the battles in a way. So just before playoffs. So yeah. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this team builder now, or team not team builder analysis, but like this team analysis, and yeah, see you time. See ya, and have a great day.